Hi guys.
Hi,
It
friends.
it's Friday and I'm here with Miss Amber and I am your teacher today. As you recall, Amber made a really cool pair of beaded earrings last week. The firecracker earrings. Is that what you're calling them, or
I
fireworks?
didn't
I
give
can't
him a name, but sure, we can call him that.
But they are super cool. I made my pair. I should have brought them up. And I just wore them yesterday with a cute
Me
shirt, and they were perfect.
too.
So that was a
We were
great project.
matchy-matchy.
We did our shirts match too. We just weren't together. So welcome in. We are, as always, very happy to have you here today. And just before we started, my voice started doing something weird. So if I sound weird,
That's
I
fine.
have no reason. So, but just to do some housekeeping first, guys, we always like to, if you can give us a thumbs up, give us a like wherever you're watching us, share it out to your beady friends. We appreciate that.
And I'll
Um,
go do that while you're talking.
okay, that sounds good. Today we're going to do something called flat stitch. This is something that Native Americans do usually, and other folks do it as well. But they make a lot of their jewelry using flat stitch, and that is where I learned it, by watching Native American people on social media. And I really enjoy it, and you can get some really beautiful pieces um, without having to do um, a difficult stitches to do it. You know, it's a basic stitch, and as long as you have what you need, you can put anything together. And you can, as long as you have something flat for the center, or even in this case, this isn't even flat. It's a cabochon, but this is a rivoli that we're going to be using today. And you can also, I wanted to show you how you can use rivolis in these projects. So then that way, um, it's very versatile to make the project with. So this is our earring that we're making today. It
So
says it.
pretty.
So this is one of them. This is the demo one that I did. As far as what we're gonna need today, guys, you're gonna need some backing. I have some faux leather. I think Amber has felt. You can use anything that you have handy there, material, whatever
Mhm.
you'd like. It's going to have to be some sort of cloth, though, so you can stitch into it. You're going to need, I use Pellon because that's just what they use. But again, you can just use felt if you have that on hand. You just need something for a backing. This is Pellon 40, and I've doubled this, so it's pretty thick. It doesn't look it, but it's pretty sturdy and stiff. Okay. And we're going to need some 11O seed beads, some 4mm fire polish, some 2mm crystals, some 11Os. You're going to need either some jump rings or some tags, like a glue on tag of some kind that you can put between the project and the backing that you choose. And what else? Of course, you'll need a rivoli or a cabochon or something that you like, and some ear wires of some sort, and of course, your wildfire and your needle. We're going to be using some GS Hypo cement as well, and also some B7000. I am going to turn this down because I'm going to get started here as soon as possible, unless Amber has something she wants to share.
Uh, no,
Nope, all good. All good.
sorry.
Sorry, I'm not trying to.
No, family was coming in the door, so I was
Okay.
just on mute. So, but
Okay,
they're
great.
they're gone now. They can't.
Great.
All's good. Well, I
Oh,
don't feel
well.
100%. So if I pop out, it's not because I don't love you guys.
Well, you just do what you need to do there. We gotcha. So
Okay.
I'm going to turn the camera down so we can get started, because this is a kind of longer project.
Yes,
Okay.
let's get moving. And while you're turning, I'll yap.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, we had a good 4th. How about you guys? Did you all have a good 4th of July? Let's see. We had friends over. We did a bonfire. Yeah, it was fun.
Don't forget your
So
tractor pull or whatever.
yeah, oh yeah.
Or your braid.
I'll have to share a picture. Share in the group. Love to see your 4th of July pictures. But I went to a true central Pennsylvania parade, mostly
Yes.
tractors, some dump trucks and fire trucks, and there was some ladies with fairy wings on like scooters that have motors. So yeah,
Okay.
and then afterwards, of course, we had to rate all the muscle cars as they did their burnouts. So good old we live in farmland.
Yes.
We live in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, I can completely relate to that. I grew up in that area,
Yes.
and or not in that area, but in
Right.
Western PA, in that kind of situation, where it was very much the middle of nowhere, and people were definitely uh, into doing that kind of thing. We actually have it's called, by the house that I grew up in. There's a speedway called Dog Hollow Speedway,
Oh.
and it sounds like it's more than what it is. Um, but it's just basically where they go out and they race cars, and sometimes you can hear it in the wind during the evenings that they're doing it. Oh, so anyway, long story short, so I am using materials from the last Potomac Beads treasure box, which you can find all of their uh, products, or all of their a link to all of their products in the description in my Linktree. But like I said, this is what we're making today, just really quick. And I thought it just came out stunning. I mean, that Rivoli in the center. Now, this is I
It is
believe.
beautiful.
Now,
Yeah.
what does the description on the package say of this, Amber? Because I lost my.
Potomac, that's okay. Crystal cushion. So it's
Okay,
slightly different. It's not a flat I can never say that word.
cabochon. That's
Thank
what I
you.
say.
See?
Whether it's right or not, I don't know.
I don't know. How
But
you say it is a nice way of saying it.
see how it sits up a little bit from the material that I have it glued to?
Yeah, cabochons usually sit down lower. So.
Right. Yeah, this is a Rivoli, so it has a pointed back on it. So I just got a stunning Rivoli from my friend Gloria as one of my birthday gifts.
Aww.
And I looked at it and I thought, I got some of those in my Potomac bead boxes. I wonder if I can, bead around that. So the answer is yes, in case you were wondering. So what I did is I took about an arm length and a half, and it looks like I'm getting tangled, so let me get that out, of a wildfire, and I tied a knot in the end of it, and then just threaded my needle. I bent my needle making it. That's not unusual, but this is a tulip needle, so it can take it. But
mine is all bent and
yeah,
distorted as
but
well.
these beading needles that Potomac Beads carries are really good too.
Yeah,
they give tulips a run for their money. So I am not a fan of the ponies, but some people really like those. So whatever works for you. So I tied a knot in the end, and I'm just going to start by taking my needle and going up. I'm leaving myself a little tiny bit of breathing room beside that where I'm going up there. You can see there's just like this millimeter of space. Okay, can you see that?
So you have two layers there. Should we have
two layers? I have, because this is 40, it won't hurt you to do 2 layers of felt too, just for a little bit more stiffness, because when the material's stiffer, it seems like it's easier to stitch it.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
So I'm going to pull this through, and then I'm going to pick up 2 of my 4mm fire polish. I'm going to drop those down. Okay. And then I'm going to lay these flat. And this is kind of going to go around the edge of this a little bit.
Can you remind me how big that square is? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. 2.5 by 2.5 inches. Yes.
Great.
And so as I have this here, I'm going to pull this a little bit around the curve of the outside, and I'm going to take, and I have the string under my thumb here, and I'm pulling this taut. So I'm going to take the needle, and I'm going to leave about the same amount of space that we left when we went in here with our first stitch. Like I said, is it 1 millimeter? Is it 2 millimeters? Something like that. Tiny bit. And I'm going to drop my needle down in front of that bead, about that distance away from it. Okay. Just the most important thing is not to make your beads too tight. You want them to fit in there nicely, but you don't want them to be too snug or things aren't going to look right. And then I'm going to go back, and since we have 2 here, we have a string that goes between the 2 of them, and that's what we need with flat stitch. So I'm going to take my needle and put it up inside beside my Rivoli. Again, leaving myself a little bit of breathing room in there, just trying to get it right where I need it. And you may have to practice poking a few times. I still have to sometimes. And then I'm just going to pull that. So now we just went back and put our needle up between where the string is, between the 2 fire polish. Okay, see that? So then all I'm going to do is I'm going to line this string up in between the 2, and I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to drop it on the outside. Again, little tiny bit of breathing room, but we're tacking this thread down.
Oh, okay.
So that's what's going to keep our beads in place. So then once you tack that down, then we're going to take the needle and we're going to pop it up through the bottom behind the first one that we started with. Okay, see how that's coming up through there?
So you kind of worked back.
Yeah, worked back. Yep, exactly right. And then once you get that pulled up through, then you're going to go back through the beads with that string. Okay, and then you're just going to give it a nice little snug.
Just through the holes.
Tug. Yep, through the holes of the beads. Yep.
Sorry, I was looking down, cutting.
So you can see now these are in place. They're not going anywhere. Okay. Hi, Joanne. Hi, honey.
Hi,
so
Joanne.
now we're going to pick up 2 more of our fire polish, and we're going to continue because I just surrounded that Rivoli with these beads. The reason I took decided on the 4 millimeters because of that gap between the edge of the Rivoli and the material. So it'll see how it fills it in nice, and you can't even tell.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to drop 2 more beads down and do the same thing. Hold that string, stitch down in front of your bead.
But over top of the string, right?
Not yet. Not yet. We're just going down through.
Oh, okay.
Pulling the beads in.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, just pulling them into place. And then we're going to go up beside the inside, beside the Rivoli, in between that and your beads. Okay. I want to find the exact spot I want it, so bear with me here, guys. Okay, so up through. And again, every time you're pulling just snug. You don't rip on it or anything to make it, when you're seed beading or anything, you never want to just, make the tension too much, but
Right.
You have to keep some tension. So then I'm going to go across the string that is between these 2 beads and tack and put my needle down on the other side, put it through. Okay. And tack that down. So now this is going to be a little different than the first one we did because we're going to go back 3 beads.
Why 3?
Because we want to be able to link both sets of beads together. We want everything to be one. So we're linking it into the first one we did. Okay. So now going forward, every time that you do it, you're going to go back 3 beads, link it into the last one that you stitched in place. Okay. And I just came up behind that 3rd bead inside between the cab and the And I'm just going to take my needle and just go through all 3 of those beads just to make sure everything's nice and hooked together there and everything's one. Okay, just like so. So that's what we have so far. Okay, so now we're going to pick up 2 more. Drop them down. And the same thing. Put them into place, and then I pull my string taut, and then I hold my string with my thumb on top. And then I'm going to drop the needle down in front of the last bead that we put on. And pull that down through. So now we've got it in the position that we want it. And we're going to poke up through between the cabochon and the beads where the string is. Oh, yes. This is a good way to do it. I know that you can do it with encompassing it with seed beads, and I honestly, that's probably going to be the next thing I tackle. But I thought to myself, this is a simpler way of doing it, at least in my eyes, because it's the same stitch and it's a simpler concept in my mind. So someone that's an avid seed beater probably may have a different opinion. But I just went back and poked my needle up behind the 3rd bead, which is the last bead on the last stitch that we made. Okay, the last section we made, I should say. And we're just going to go through those beads. Now, sometimes you go through 2 because of the angle of the 3rd bead, but then you can just take your needle and go through that one. Because when you're doing this also, not only is it making everything one, but it's getting you back to where you need to be so you can do the next set. Okay. And you can see how nicely that's disguising the edges of that rivelet. Okay. So we're going to pick up 2 more. And do the same thing. Go down through in front of the bead, the last bead that we put on. And then between the cab or the rivelet and the beads, where you can see the string between the 2 beads, and then tack it down.
We're so excited to have you both, Caroline and Jennifer. No worries, we just started, not super late, so.
And then we're going to go up beside the 3rd bead, which was the last bead that we did in our last section, and that is also between the rivelet and the bead. Okay. Hey, Jen. And Caroline, you're here too.
Yeah.
How's everyone today? We're doing some flat stitch today. Okay, and we're coming out through the last 3 that gets us up to the front. So for everyone coming in, I'm going to go through all the steps again. So we're just going to pick up 2. You'll have to go back and look at how we started it, but it's actually very simple. But in the replay, you can catch that. And then once I put my 2, these are 4mm fire polish. I'm just going to hold the string back here, keep it taut, and I'm going to lay my thumb on that taut string. Then I'm going to take my needle. I'm going to go down in front of the last bead that we put on our string and give that a pull. Okay, so now it's attached somewhat. It's on there, but it's not tacked down. Okay. So then we're going to go and put our needle between the Rivoli that I'm using here. And you can use Rivolis or cabochons or whatever you like. This is a good technique to use with Rivolis because if you use the larger beads around the center, you can just disguise the space between, okay, between the material in the bottom and the Rivoli. And we came up between the Rivoli and the fire polish, and there's a string that runs between these two beads. In essence, we're tacking those beads down by tacking that string down. So I'm going to go over the strand that's going through these beads, and I'm going to put my needle through my material and pull that string. And that string right there, in essence, has pulled that snug. So that's pretty good on there now. But we're going to go back, not only the two that we just did, we're going to go back to the last one that we put on in the last section we did. And then I'm just going to put my needle up between there and the cabochon, or the Rivoli. I keep calling it a cabochon. Okay. And then we're going to go through all three of those beads with our needle. I went through two because it's around a curve. So I like to do, if it's around a curve, I like to do two and then take my needle through that third one to get me back where I want to be. So we can do our next section. Is that my mic?
I'm sorry?
I hear like a thumping or a...
I was typing, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I
That
just
might be
couldn't
what
figure
you
out.
hear.
I thought, is my fan hitting my... That's okay. No
No.
problem. I just was...
I was putting things in the chat. I was just about to put
Awesome.
up your Linktree. Sorry.
Awesome. Thank you. So I added my two beads, and you can see we're to the end of this section. So, but we're not going to do anything different. We're going to put our needle down in front of that last bead, in between there and our first bead. Okay. And we're going to pull that. And set that into place. Then we're going to go between the cabochon and the beads where the thread is between both of our beads. And all of the materials I'm using today, as I said, is from a Potomac Beads treasure box. They have some really beautiful check glass and some Miyuki seed beads on their website. They also make their own Austrian crystals, which is phenomenal. So we're tacking this last string down between the last two beads that we put on. And then I'm going to come up between the third and then I'm just going to go through all three of those beads. All right. And then go through the last one. And I'm going to go through the last one and through the first one, because then everything is a unit. Okay. Okay, so there is our first set of beads on. All right, that's the ones in the center here. Okay. So what we're going to do then, we're going to go down through our material. We're going to go out about 2 millimeters, maybe a millimeter, tiny bit, 2 millimeters maybe. And we're going to put our needle down through our material again. And then we're going to come back up right about in the same area beside that. So we can be stepped out a little bit from the piece, so our beads won't be right on top of them. Because if we go from where this came out, it's all going to sit very weird in here. It's going to be almost on top of the other beads, this bead that we put on. Okay. So our next section, let me put these little guys up here because I don't need those anymore. The next section is going to be our 2 millimeter Austrian crystals, Potomac beads crystals, and 11O seed beads. These are just some really pretty Miyukis. These are silver lined. I just thought that they made a pop. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up a bicone, 3 seed beads, and a bicone. And each section is going to be that. Okay. I can pick up my other bicone. There we go. All right, so I'm going to slide that down. This is for our next. Is that a sew on cab or use glue? I used B7000 on it. You want to make sure that if you are gluing crystals on, guys, you do not want to use anything that off-gasses. And an example of an off-gassing glue is this. Okay, this is okay to use on anything else, but don't use it with your crystals. Okay, it'll cloud your crystals.
Can you use the hypo cement?
I think that off gases too.
Okay.
I mean, you can, but it's not going to off gas as bad as the super glue gel. But I recommend like E6000, B7000, something like that. We'll have to look up with the GS hypo afterward, guys, and let you know for sure, because I can't be 100%. Okay, so what I did is I did the same thing, guys, and pulled this string taut down here, have it wrapped around my finger, and I'm going to lay my thumb there. And you can see with the 2 bicones and the 3 seed beads, it kind of goes around one of our 4 millimeters. Okay. Kind of. It goes into the other one a little bit, but I thought it looked really nice doing that. So we're going to go down in front of that line of beads that we just put on. And then I'm going to go back and go between the first seed bead and the second seed bead and beside the fire polish. I'll just scooch that out a little bit so I can see. Kind of sometimes when you are once you get beads on, you have to kind of feel your way a little bit with your needle.
Hi, Clint.
You have to kind of feel your way with the needle a little bit and tack down between the first seed bead and the second seed bead. So I'm going to tack that string down that goes through the beads.
So not every single one, just
crossing over it. No. Usually I'll do every 2 or 3. Okay. So we're going to just make sure that our little string is going over between the first seed bead and the bicone there. Or first and second seed bead, excuse me. But we're including the bicone and the first seed bead. And then we're going to go back a little ways, 2 more seed beads between our fire polish and our seed beads. Okay. That's between where the last crystal bicone is and the last seed bead. That's where we're going here.
Okay.
Right. And we're coming up through. And then we're going to cross over between the seed bead and the bicone and tack that string down. So it's the same exact thing, except for you doing it with different beads. So you're going to have a little bit different spacing and things like that. All right. So I'm just guiding my string here a little bit where I want it. So when I pull it, it goes where I want it. So that was on nice and tight. So now we have to get back up to the front where we started. So we're going to come up through and go behind the first bead that we added, just like so. Okay. And then we're going to go through all of those beads. We're just trying to make everything a solid unit of beads that we're circling around with. Okay. So I was able to go through all those at one time. Look at that.
Good job.
So that one is now in. Okay. So next we're going to do this. Now this is going to be a little different because we got our first section on with the bicone first. So we're going to do 3 seed beads because that's going to be our next step, and then a bicone. And that's what we're going to drop down. So we don't have bicone beside bicone. That's all. And we're going to hold it in place down through in front. And then between, now what we're going to do is go between the first, the same as we did on the last section. We're going to go between the first C bead and the second C bead. We're going to include that bicone because this bicone from the last section, whatever last bicone you use, you're going to include it on your next section so you can tack that down. So we're going between first and second seed bead, and I came up between where the fire polish is and the seed beads are, and I'm going to go over top of that just like that, and we're going to tack the string down. All right, and then again I'm guiding my thread to make sure that I get it where I want it. Then we're going to go between third seed bead and bicone. We're going to be working between there. So we're going to go between the fire polish and the seed beads, right where I want to come across. And then go across there, tack it down. And then we're going to pop up between this first bicone for the last section and the fire polish, because we're going to link those together by using that last crystal, bicone. If I repeat myself, I'm just trying to make sure you guys have all your ducks in a row with it. All right, and this is a little tricky because this is already tacked down, so you kind of have to angle your needle in such a way to be able to pop through that bicone again. Sometimes I have to bend the material and kind of angle it up like that. But you go back through that bicone and the seed beads and the other bicone. Okay, so now it's all unit. And we're just going to continue building these units as we go, just like we did with our fire polish. So 3 seed beads bicone. I'm going to go a little faster now, guys. If you have any questions, let us know. Okay.
Faster?
What's that?
You were going at a great pace.
Am I?
Faster? I'm still on the...
Well, that's okay. Well, you have connections. If you have questions, you know. You can FaceTime me and be like, hey. But the good thing is it's all the same concept. You know, you're just... sometimes if you're using 3 beads, you'll probably go between, you know, the first and second and then the third and the fourth of the last section. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just a basic concept. That's why I like it so much. Like I said, because you can make such beautiful pieces with this. And I mean, this is nothing compared to the Native American work that I've seen doing this.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Their stuff is gorgeous. Yeah.
They are incredibly talented. And I almost wish I was an Indian sometime. A Native American, I should say. Which I was told that I have some in my family, but a lot of people think that, and that's not true either. You know, I was wanted to get one of those genetics tests to see what I really have in me.
Yeah.
My dad's like, oh, we have your great whatever grandmother was Sioux Indian, he says. So I'm like, well, I don't know that for sure, but I'll go with it, Dad. So, but anyway, kudos to the Native Americans on that. Oh my gosh. Wonderful.
They make some beautiful pieces, that's for sure.
Yes, they do. All right. So I'm picking up 3 bicone. And the reason I'm kind of going a little faster, guys, is because this is a lengthy project. It's not terribly long, but to try to get it finished in an hour to show you all the techniques can be a little snug on time. So I'm just trying to get to the edge, which we're only going around twice with the flat stitch. So that makes things a little bit easier, a little quicker. All right, just tacking down. How's it going, Amber? Are you getting the concept?
Yeah, it just
Good.
First time I've ever done this, so just
Yeah.
going slow. But
yeah, absolutely.
all right, see, I'm almost there.
Oh, you're looking good. I knew you'd pick it up like you always do.
How's everybody else doing? Is anybody else beading along with us, or have other projects they're doing? Share.
I see Melanie's not here, but I saw she was actually doing some some stitching around some cabochons.
Oh, nice.
Yesterday, I think. So her work's posted. She posted up, and just beautiful. She actually did the seed bead on the cabochons, built it up on top of it.
Like the
the wrap kind of. Yeah. So it was just, we have so many talented folks in our beading group.
We do. Yeah, if you haven't joined our Facebook group, we would love to have you. It is in our Linktree. Make sure you in my Linktree, which I had posted, but we'd love to have you.
So we're picking up 3 more seed beads and a bicone.
Did you get to see? Did you do fireworks yesterday?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, we have them right in town, but with the dogs, we don't.
Yeah.
We stay here with them because they're pretty good about it, but I'm not leaving them alone when that's going on, So no, we heard them because it's that close to the house,
Yeah.
It's a big display that my town does down at the fairground area.
Oh, fun. Okay.
And which is beautiful. They do a great job on it. It's just with our dogs,
Oh, yeah.
Especially with Esme being so young.
Yeah.
I don't want her to be freaked out.
Yeah, we watched it too, but being up on the mountain, we're far enough away that Bailey does fine.
Yeah, that's good.
Like you don't kind like it doesn't, you don't get the boom.
Yeah, that's the nice way to watch them, isn't it? Except for Disney. I like getting the boom at Disney.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a good thing.
But yeah, with the doggies, that's a whole different ball.
Oh, yeah. Well, and here is so crowded downtown, so.
Oh, I imagine, yeah. State College.
We don't do that.
Yeah. Well, ours is just a small town, but we get a good amount of people. And then Williamsport does a great big.
Oh, I'm sure.
They closed the bridge down to do it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But we don't usually go there. We've lived in this area probably 16 or 17 years.
Yeah,
we've never gone.
You and I have lived in our homes, I think, about the same amount of time.
Yeah. We've been in this house for 14 years.
Okay.
But we've lived
in ours 16, so yeah.
Yeah, we lived in the area. I think the other rental that we had a rental, and we lived there about 3 years. So
gotcha.
Oops.
We lived in our rental for 2.
Yeah.
So we've
Look at that. 2 peas in a pod. We knew that already, though.
Yes.
So, guys, if you haven't done so, please give us a like and a share. And if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channels, please check out mine and Amber's and give us a follow.
Can you remind me, is it 3 seed beads in between the bicones?
When you first start, it's going to be bicone, 3 seed bead, bicone. And then the rest of
Okay.
your sections are going to be 3C beads, bicone, 3C beads,
Oh,
bicone. Because
okay.
you're linking into the last bicone from
That
the
makes
section
sense.
you did.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I don't get a knot here. That'll be the next thing. Oh, don't do that. So we're just doing the same thing. We're tacking that down, going between first and second seed bead, up between the fire polish and the work that you're currently working on here. The seed beads.
So, friends, if you haven't heard, Trish had to get herself a big girl job. And for the next 2 weeks, she has to work full time while she trains. But after that, then there's Bead Fest and stuff. But after that, so come mid-August, we will come up with a new schedule, new time.
Mm-hmm.
Just Trish will be in banking, and we'll have to work on Fridays. So
Yeah.
we will keep you posted as we learn what her schedule will be, and yeah. So no worries, we will let you know.
We'll still be here in one form or another at one time or another.
Yes.
But yeah, I appreciate you being so flexible with it, Amber. I really don't, enjoy this so much, and
I know.
I
Yeah.
I didn't really want to have to get a job.
Right.
I mean, I'm excited. I am excited about it, though. It seems
Well, I
like
think
it's.
everybody understands life, inflation and blah blah
Hmm.
blah. So
Yeah, and Bead Fest is coming up. Don't forget that. So job's good when
oh yes,
when you're
we'll
gonna
have
go to Bead
money to
Fest.
spend.
Yeah, but just in general, it'll be good. I can
Yeah.
help out a little bit. But it gets me out of the house 3 days a week. You know,
Woohoo.
yeah.
Bonus.
And sometimes four, depends on if I work Saturday,
And
a
some new
Saturday or
clothes,
not.
right?
And new clothes, and now I can
Yeah.
make jewelry for myself again that I can wear in other places besides in front of my dogs and my husband. All kinds of good points to it.
Yes.
The schedule, on the other hand, the early
Mm,
mornings, it's going to be an adjustment, but I'll
no
get
more
there.
sleeping in.
Oh, that was the nice part about it. I did sleep in today, and I shouldn't have. I need to be getting up early every day. But I went to bed at a decent time.
Oh, good.
I just got a little extra sleep. And I think I'll probably do that on my days off only
Oh,
because
yeah.
to get my strength built back up, you know.
It'll take time getting used to working full time. So.
Yeah, it will. So it looks like we have 2 more sections, I think, for this.
Do you guys have any questions for Trish so far?
Okay.
What do you guys got on your tables today?
Yeah, leave it in the comments if you're watching the replay. Certainly leave in your comments, guys, if on the YouTube channel later on or on Facebook.
We're also in the group. So
Yes, we got to share it to the group. That's for sure. For some reason, it won't let us broadcast right into the Queen Beads group, but
yeah, good old
Facebook.
changing their rules
I'm
again.
going to take a quick drink here, guys.
Caroline says, that looks really pretty, Trish.
Oh,
I
thank you
find the
so much.
light blue beads a challenge to find complementary beads. Yeah, it can be really hard.
Yeah, um these are really pretty. These are a silver line Mayuki, and I just love these. I think they complement a lot. I really wasn't sure when I first picked them up, but I thought that looks really pretty with the teal and the emerald and turquoise and
Gives it a
all the
little pop.
It does. It does. So we're going to stitch this down. Really, oh, that was so sweet. You guys are the best. I'm surprised Terry's not in here causing trouble today.
Well, maybe she went away for the long weekend.
Yes, that's true. Probably a lot of folks did.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it'll be the Amber show for the next 2 weeks. And then during Bead Fest, we will post a past video, just to give you guys an idea.
And I'll probably go live from Bead Fest once or twice. I'm only going to be
Oh,
there.
that would be fun.
Yeah, I'm only going to be there one day probably, unless we decide to go back, which we may.
Okay.
But we usually just go on Fridays because it's not terribly busy.
Right.
Saturdays are the most busy
Oh
days.
my goodness.
But it's still, last year it was pretty tight in there. The first year at the new location was great because we had like so much room because everybody wasn't used to
Coming
the
there,
new location yet, but it's getting the words out now, I think. So, which is
If you're-
good.
If you're on the East Coast, it's going to be in Lancaster.
Yeah.
For the
Okay.
third year now?
Third year. Mm-hmm. So, this is the predicament I got in last time. So, when I came to the end, I didn't have enough space to do another run. So, I'm going to take this bicone off.
Okay.
That's what I did. And I snuck in one more seed bead. And it's not 3, it's 4. But honestly, tell me you can notice it on this.
Oh, no, not at all.
So that's what I did. So then that way it would look more uniform. So we're going to do 4 seed beads on this last section. Get my other one down there. That would be helpful. There we go. And then we're just going to tack this down. It looks like I might even need one more on the... No, we're good. The 4 will be... Just look, make sure, guys, because sometimes you can stick in a couple extra seed beads. Let me try one more and see if it looks right. I want that space to be filled.
Right.
And not look like an empty spot either, But it's barely noticeable. Yeah, see, that's the 5 was too many, so I did do 4. So take one more off there. So we're doing 4 seed beads on the end, and we're going to do the exact same thing that we did so far. Okay. This booger off. There we go.
And if you're just joining us, folks, these everything but the backing and the silver line seed beads actually came from the June Potomac bead box.
Okay, so I tacked that down, and I'm going to go between 1 and 2, or excuse me, between 2 and 3 seed beads, and I'm coming up between my fire polish just like I did all those other times. And I'm going to tack that down. Okay, and again, I'm going to guide my string to where I want it, so it's going to go over top of that thread. And then I'm going to tack down between the 4th seed bead and this last bicone. That tack down. And then we're going to go up through the pellon again, inside where that last bicone is. We're going to go through the bicone. Again, sometimes you have to do a little finagling. Through the seed beads, and then we're going to go through this first bicone. Oops, sorry guys, gone off screen there.
So easy to do.
And then it looks like one unit then. Okay, so we have the 4, like I said, on the last one, but it's not too bad. So I'm going to leave this thread on here because it's going to be easier to finish our piece since we already have our thread here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a pair of shears and I'm going to cut up my Pelon up until about, let's look at millimeters. Let's see how much I went away from there. I guess I could have did that earlier too.
That's all good.
Let's see. There's 2. Yep, probably about 2 millimeters away from our beadwork. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this piece off. So let me grab my other scissors. These are driving me nuts. Okay. And you can use any kind of scissors for this, guys. It's just, this is embroidery backing that I'm using, or if you're using felt, it'll look good. So we're going to drop down. I'm going to take the inside of my scissors and I'm going to cut a circle about 2 millimeters out from our last bit of beadwork around the entire piece. Watching we don't cut our thread. Okay. All right, once we do that, then we're going to take a little piece of our backing. I just cut a square out that will fit around because we're going to cut it the same way. So I'm just going to go in here and just cut a small piece of backing out.
So is this to cover up all your stitches and stuff too?
Yes, because here's the back. So this will give you a nice look, you know. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take one of our little tabs that I have here. You can also use a jump ring. That works just as well. I thought I had one out. Or I did it with it, so we'll get one out so I can show you. And here you can use your B7000 or your E6000 again. Like I said, I just like to keep super glue away from my crystals. So, and you can figure out what you want to be the top. So if I'm looking at mine, I want it to be flat on the bottom with the crystals. So I'm going to do the top right up here, kind of where that point is. And don't fret if your 2 millimeters isn't perfect around, it's not a big deal. So I'm just going to, and if you have a jump ring and you're doing this with, just do the cut side down. And that's going to keep that crease, you know, the opening of the jump ring inside the piece so you can hook whatever to it. But these are just little tabs that I have that have little circles on them. And I'm just going to glue that on just like that. I want it to be straight. It's always a good thing. And I just take it down to where the loop is showing. I'd have to put a little bit of glue on that. No, it might be okay. Okay. This is hard to see, I know. This is so tiny. Okay, so I just want to check it on the front. And I can take my little scissor and maneuver it a little bit here and make sure I have it straight. And so I'm going to trim this little point off here because that's not helping me right now. All right, and I'm going to get this right in the center of my cab on the back. Okay, you can see that. Then once we have that glued in place, we're going to glue on our square piece of backing. Okay, so I'm just going to take my E7000 or E6000 or whatever you have, and I'm going to go around the edge, and I'm going to go into the middle and just put some down. Don't go too crazy because it'll squirt out the sides if you do. Put my back in my glue here. And then we're just going to take this square and we're going to set it down on the back of our piece where it's pretty much centered. Okay. Just like that. And you're going to want to let this set up for a little bit. If you're have a little bit of time just to step away, do that. But today we're not going to do that because I do want to at least show you the edging. So we're just going to take our scissors again and we're going to cut our backing at about the same width around as we did our felt or pellon that we had. Okay, I'm going to go and drop down on this side. Go behind here. I just don't want my loop to get messed up. So, and then we'll go in here like this. I guess I'm keeping it about the same width as the backing.
What's the same width?
The backing the same width as the pellon or felt that you used on the
okay.
beaded part. Those words didn't come out right, did they?
That's all good.
Okay, so once you have that, then you have your string here to start, and this is the perfect place for it to come out. And I have my thread, and that's why I cut so much thread, so I can kind of do it all in one fell swoop without adding more thread. Yeah. So we're going to pick up, let me just double check how many I used around the edge here. I think it was 3. Yes. So we're going to pick up 3 seed beads. Okay. And then we're just going to take those seed beads and drop them down on our string. And then we're going to go through the back. Now what I do is where my string is coming out, I go to the right of it, just 1 millimeter or 2. So then that way, when you go to do your next set, you're already in the right place. So when you go front to back, because you'll see how these beads are going to wrap around the edge of it. Okay. And then I'm just going to pull that through. And not get a knot. Not get a knot. All right. And there is your edging.
Oh, okay.
So 3 more. And then go right to the right of that, where your string is coming out. Go through. And then pull.
So this is what connects it together.
This is what's going to cover, connect everything together and do a nice finished edge for you. Okay, so that's what our back looks like now. And then we're just going to have these little stitches all around the edge, since this is white thread it buns in. But if you don't have coordinating, that'll be just fine too. And then we'll do a few more here just to get the hang of it.
What are some other ways to edge it? Is there other ways?
You can do bicones on the edge of it as well. You can use any bead. There's a technique that they do where they put the seed beads and the bicones on, and then they come through the front and then up through one of the beads. Now, to tell you, I know that technique. You'll just have to look up on YouTube. I have to watch it every time I want to do the technique because I always forget it. So just put flat stitch edging in YouTube, and you'll be able to find a lot of demonstrations on that. Different types.
Gotcha.
But this is a basic one. I figured this was the good first one to teach everybody.
Yeah.
All right, and then we're gonna one more here, and there you go. That's how you do the edging. And then, of course, this is what the finished earring will look like. And there's the edging the whole way around. Okay, and the backing. Everything looks nice and finished and complete. Okay, you're welcome, Joanne. I'm going to turn my camera back around here because it is time to go, my friends.
Oh my goodness. Good catch. I totally like.
Well, yeah, that's how I am when I get into doing this. I'm just going to put my lights back up so I don't look deceased.
Me too.
I don't want to look deceased. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. It's super fun, super fun project to make that isn't too awful difficult. Once you get the technique down, the sky's the limit. So
thank you, Trish.
you're
Really
very welcome.
appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. I enjoyed it. And guys, I'll miss you when I'm gone. I just want everybody to know that. I'll still be putting up YouTube videos. Hopefully, is the plan. I'm going to try to get a lot of work done this weekend just to have to, be able to put up some teaching videos for you. And I won't fall off the edge of the earth, I promise.
And I'll let everybody know how you're doing with your new job. And
okay, that sounds great. Yeah, this couple weeks here is going to be rough.
Yeah,
it's like well, I think they have me 36 hours one week and 38 the next. So,
and when you're not used to it, I mean, that's tough.
I'm gonna tell Mario, you know what? You're on your own with the cooking for 2 weeks, dude. Make sure I have a glass of wine and some food in my hand when I walk in the door.
Aw.
And he will. He's good. Like, unless he has a
He
hard,
is good that way.
rough
Yeah.
time too. But again,
Yeah.
guys, thanks so much for joining us. And I will see you soon. And Amber, we'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye, guys.